Heartwarming moment, little girl discovers an unexpected new daddy in the speechless CEO's life. Mia stood at the bustling community center, her golden curls bouncing like playful springs as she skipped from one colorful activity to another. Her bright smile radiated warmth, yet shadows lurked behind those sparkly blue eyes. She was just a 7-year-old girl, but inside, she carried the heaviest of burdens, a father who was gone forever, taken too soon in a tragic accident that left her small world shattered. It was a beautiful day, the kind that begged for laughter and friendship, but Mia felt a hollowness that no glitter or craft supplies could fill. Sarah, Mia's mother, wore her strength like a badge of honor. A dedicated nurse, she worked long hours to support them, her tired eyes revealing the silent fight against grief. Mia knew her mother loved her endlessly thoughtful dinners, story time, hugs, but sometimes, Mia just longed for a father's embrace, a giggle-filled moment, and the magic of feeling whole again. That sunny afternoon changed everything. While coloring at a long table with other kids, Mia's innocent curiosity led her to the corner of the room, where Jake, the stoic CEO, sat alone watching volunteers bustle around. He was known in town as a master of business, with a reputation for cutting-edge competitiveness, but he was also known for the silent pain that haunted his heart since the loss of his estranged son years ago. Mia approached him with unfiltered hope. "What are you making?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with genuine interest. Jake looked down at the messy collection of papers and markers, a frown deepening on his face. Deep within him, something stirred long-buried grief, perhaps a flicker of a memory. Just some crafts," he managed, his voice barely above a whisper. "Can I help?" She beamed, sitting beside him and placing her tiny hands on the table. Her laughter filled the empty spaces around them like sunshine chasing away the clouds of sorrow. As they created colorful designs, laughter erupted like fireworks. Jake began to share stories about his life, his voice softening. He shared tales of mundane moments that Mia hung onto like treasure. With each shared giggle, Jake felt warmth penetrating the walls he had built around himself. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." Their bond began to blossom quietly, whispers seeping through the community like a delicately woven fabric. Some frowned, their jaws clenched with judgment, a little girl needing a father, leaning towards a man so different from her. Yet, amidst that storm of disapproval, Mia's joy remained like a shimmering beacon, undeterred by gossip. Jake learned to find solace in her laughter, and day by day, his heart softened, like ice melting under the warmth of spring sun. The crucial moment arrived when Jake stepped up during a community meeting. Hesitation gripped him, the faces of familiar neighbors staring back with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. His heart raced. Would he bravely proclaim the truth of their connection? Would the whispers stop, or would they grow louder? As his eyes landed on Mia, her small hands clasped in hopeful anticipation, he felt a spark ignite within him. The weight of their bond pressed against his chest, ready to spill into honesty. The room fell silent, the air thick with tension, and he began to speak. Would this be the moment everything changed? Would he finally embrace the second chance that Mia represented, or would fear cling to him like a shadow? Jake's voice wavered as he opened his mouth to speak, the crowd's curious eyes boring into him. He started, but the words caught in his throat. He glanced at Mia, who was beaming up at him, completely unaware of the storm inside his head. That innocent smile urged him on, and something deep within him stirred, pushing the fear aside. "I want to tell you about someone very special," he said, the weight of each word pulling at his heart. "This is Mia." His voice softened. "She has become important to me." A murmur rippled through the crowd. Jake felt vulnerability wash over him, yet somehow, with Mia at his side, he was ready to share his truth. I lost someone once. My son. It feels like a lifetime ago, but it taught me something essential. It taught me to cherish every moment. Somewhere in the back, someone coughed, breaking the tension. A little boy snickered, but the laughter was quickly whisked away by the serious tone in Jake's words. Mia reminded me of what I lost and what I can still find. She's bright, full of life, and he drew in a breath, determination coursing through him. I want to be there for her. He glanced around, seeing faces soften, some nodding in understanding, while others still held doubt. But he didn't care anymore. The journey they navigated together was theirs, unique and completely their own. Mia took his hand, her small fingers intertwined with his. He's the best. She exclaimed, her bubbly voice cutting through the air like a beam of light. He makes cool stuff with me. We laugh a lot. Jake felt a smile break through, pushing aside his lingering fears. We do laugh a lot, he chuckled, warmth blooming in his chest. A ripple of laughter spread through the crowd, breaking the ice that had settled in the room. Their bond might have seemed unusual to some, a little girl and a grieving man forging something new and real, but in that moment, they were simply two souls finding solace in each other. It didn't matter that he was the CEO or she was just a child, what mattered was the connection that brightened their lives. Then from the back of the room, Sarah stepped forward, her expression a mixture of concern and hope. Mia, she called gently, looking between her daughter and Jake. Are you okay with this? Mia nodded enthusiastically. Yes, Mom. He's my friend. He tells stories. Sarah's gaze softened, and perhaps, just perhaps, she saw the healing potential in this unexpected connection. But as she looked at Jake, uncertainty spilled into her heart. Could she trust him with Mia? Would this man, who was so determined to push away the pain, truly open himself to a new family? Jake caught Sarah's eye, and for the briefest moment, their shared grief passed silently between them. He wanted to reassure her, to speak to the mother in her that was naturally protective. He wanted her trust. As he opened his mouth to speak again, he hesitated, and in that silence, the community held its breath. Would judgment pass, or understanding? Was his fragile hope strong enough to mend the fractures between him and Sarah, and more importantly, to create a space where Mia's laughter could echo like a melody of new beginnings? But just then, a loud crash echoed through the community center, an accidental display of art supplies toppling over in a hilarious chaos that broke the tension once again. Laughter erupted, redirecting the spotlight. As Mia squealed in delight, watching the commotion, Jake felt the weight of potential lift, if only for a moment. But he knew this was just the beginning of a long journey ahead, one where he would have to face not only the fears of others but his own. How far would he go to protect this new bond, and could he truly open his heart again? He could feel his heart racing, the question hanging in the air like a delicate promise. What would it take for them to truly become a family? The laughter from the crowd bubbled like a warm spring morning, breaking the thick veil of uncertainty that had cloaked the moment. Jake felt a swirl of relief as Mia let out a joyful squeal, her eyes sparkling with mischief as she turned to him. Did you see that? She exclaimed, pointing at the chaotic scene. They're making a mess. Can we help, Jake? Her enthusiasm was infectious, tugging at the corners of his heart. He watched as she bounded toward the fallen supplies, her small feet barely touching the ground, and he couldn't help but laugh. It was like seeing life unfurl before him, energy, laughter, hope. All right, little artist, he called out, stroking the stubble on his chin in mock seriousness. Let us do some cleanup. His heart swelled as he joined her, bending down to gather colorful markers and glitter that had scattered across the floor like fallen stars. Mia turned to him, hands on her hips. You can be my assistant. We'll make it look like we never even had a big mess. Her smile was wide and infectious, a ray of sunshine that pushed away the shadows of his past. Jake marveled at her perspective. She assumed joy was always just around the corner, a childlike magic he had almost forgotten. Perhaps that was what he needed, a little bit of her boundless spirit to guide him. As they stacked the supplies back on the table, laughter faded into camaraderie among the onlookers. Sarah observed quietly, arms crossed, her face softening as she took in the sight of her daughter and Jake sharing an unexpected moment of joy. It was a simple scene, yet it felt monumental. Was this the beginning of a bridge between them? Once the chaos was restored, Mia turned to Jake, her face flushed with excitement. "Can we do more fun stuff now? Can I show you? Please." A pang of longing surged in him. Deep within, he had been yearning for something to fill that empty space. "Of course," he replied, his voice steady. "What do you want to do? How about we make a giant collage?" she suggested, bouncing on her toes. "We can use all the colors. And it can have everything we love." Jake's heart raced at the thought. A collage, a mix of hearts, thoughts, dreams. This was the chance to create something together, a symbol of their connection. "That sounds brilliant," he said, a grin spreading across his face. "Let us make it our masterpiece." As they turned to gather art supplies again, Jake noticed Sarah stepping closer. He could see the hesitance in her eyes, still clouded with the worry of protecting her child. He respected that he had been protective once too. But as he caught her gaze, he felt a quiet urgency. "Can I ask you something, Sarah?" Jake said, his voice more composed than he felt. "Are you okay with this? With Mia and me?" She paused, absorbing his words. "I just want her to be safe. Happy," she finally admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's hard to think about letting someone else in. I've been hurt, Jake." "I get that," he said earnestly, feeling the weight of his own past. "I lost everything once and didn't think I could open up again, but Mia shows me that it's okay. She's magic, and she deserves to know that love is still out there, even for all of us." A flicker of understanding crossed Sarah's eyes, a hint of vulnerability that caught him off guard. Just then, the door swung open with a rush, and an unfamiliar figure stepped inside, carrying a large bouquet of flowers. They looked around, but their gaze fixed on Jake. A stranger's presence sent a shiver down Jake's spine. "Is this the right place?" The person called out, and suddenly the warmth melted away, replaced by the chill of uncertainty. He felt tension building, the joy of the moment threatened by an unexpected intrusion. Who was this person, and what did they want? Jake's heart raced, a question lingering in the air: would this newcomer disrupt everything he had begun to build with Mia? The stranger stepped further inside, confidence radiating off them, but Jake felt an instinctual pull to retreat, each beat of his heart a reminder of the walls he had built around himself. The bouquet of flowers looked vibrant and cheerful, but in that moment, they felt heavy like a stone tied to his chest. "Mia?" the person asked, their voice smooth but edged with urgency. Her bright eyes swung toward the newcomer, full of curiosity, her previous enthusiasm dimming just slightly. "Who are you?" Jake asked, stepping protectively in front of Mia, an instinctive barrier against whatever changed the atmosphere. "Just someone who has been looking for you," the stranger said softly, their eyes glimmering with something Jake couldn't quite place: hope? Desperation? Mia's innocent gaze flickered between them, unsure. "Do you know me?" she asked, tilting her head, clearly puzzled by the sudden tension. "Not directly, but I know your mom," the stranger replied, gesturing to Sarah, who stood frozen in place, shock washing over her face. Jake felt a rush of confusion. "What do you mean? Mom?" "Oh," Mia piped up, her little voice breaking the silence. "Mom has friends." "Is this one of her friends?" "I'm not just a friend, sweetheart," the stranger said, their tone gentle yet firm. "I'm someone who cares about your mom very much." The words hung in the air, twisting like a vine around Jake's heart. A part of him wanted to know more, to untangle this web of confusion, but another part screamed for the comfort of the familiar, the safety of his guarded life. He could already see Sarah's expression morph from surprise to concern, eyes narrowing slightly, as if she was gauging her next move. "Mia, come here," Sarah called softly, but it felt more like an instinct than a command. She reached for her daughter, clearly caught off guard by the unexpected visitor. "No, wait." Jake interjected, catching both their gazes. "Let us hear what they have to say." He felt a surprising surge of courage, mingled with fear. "Who are you? Why are you looking for Sarah?" The stranger hesitated, their own anxiety surfacing subtly. "My name is Alex," they said, standing tall despite the tension. "I have been trying to reach Sarah for a while now. Things have changed, and I think it's time she knew." "Time for what?" Jake said sharply, the protective instinct swelling within him. "I have information that might change everything for her and for Mia," Alex answered, steadying themselves as they took a breath. "It's about their past and the people who care about them." Mia's wide eyes darted between them, oblivious to the adult's conflict but sensing the shift in emotions. "Can we make our collage later?" she asked innocently, pointedly tugging at Jake's shirt. "This sounds interesting." Jake glanced at her, momentarily dispelling the tension. How could she be so untainted by the storm brewing around them? But he turned back to Alex, wrestling within himself. Did this person come to disrupt his connection with Mia? Or was it possible they were here with a revelation that could change everything? "Sarah?" he asked quietly, his eyes flicking to her. Sarah looked torn, uncertainty etched on her features. "I don't know if I'm ready for this," she whispered, her voice shaking. Jake placed a hand on her shoulder, trying to convey support. "So, are you going to tell us what is going on?" he pressed, determination fueling his voice. "Because if this changes what we've just started." "I believe it might," Alex said, a flicker of something in their gaze was at hope. "Mia deserves to know the truth about her family. And so does everyone else." An avalanche of questions swirled in Jake's mind. The air thickened with uncertainty, change looming ahead. What truth was Alex referring to? As he contemplated this unknown, a part of him felt an unexpected urgency to protect Mia that pushed against the tangled threads of fate now intertwining around them. "Tell us," he said, his voice steady, echoing through the chaos. "We need to know." But would the truth solidify their bond or unravel everything they had begun to build? Alex took a breath, their expression shifting into something that looked more like determination than hesitance. "All right," they began, glancing at Sarah as if gauging her readiness. "This is going to be hard to hear, but I trust you both to handle it." Mia looked up at Jake with wide eyes. He could feel her small hand squeezing his shirt, as if searching for reassurance. Her innocence cut through the tension in the air like a soft breeze, urging him to stay calm. "Your mom has a history," Alex continued, shoulders squared, voice steady. "A history that connects to people who cared for her deeply. People she lost contact with but not by choice." "Lost contact? What does that mean?" Jake asked, his protective facade wavering slightly, replaced by genuine curiosity and concern. Sarah's lips pressed together, and her gaze drifted down, her own silence weighing heavier than the words Alex was about to unravel. "Mia, darling," Alex turned to the little girl. "Do you remember when your mom told you about your grandparents?" Mia's brow furrowed. "I know my grandpa and grandma. They visited once. But I'm not really sure what happened after that." Sarah's eyes flickered with sorrow as Jake squeezed her shoulder tighter. They were a part of our lives, Mia," she whispered, but it felt like a confession, a burden lifted only slightly. "A part of my life I didn't want to revisit." Alex nodded, their voice softening. "It's what I'm here to explain. There was a falling out. Circumstances that led to a separation. Your mother has been carrying that weight alone for many years. But they're still alive, Mia. Your grandparents want to meet you. They want to be part of your life." Mia's face lit up with a childlike wonder that melted the heaviness surrounding them. "Really? I have more family?" "Yes," Alex confirmed, meeting Mia's hopeful gaze, releasing a small smile. You deserve to know them, and they deserve to know you. Sarah's eyes brimmed with tears as she searched for Jake's face. He could sense her turmoil to reflect on a past that held both love and pain. But it's complicated, Alex. Family isn't always what it seems. I know, Alex interjected gently. But it's a chance, Sarah. A chance for healing, for closure. Not just for you, but for Mia too. She should have the choice to know where she comes from. Jake watched Sarah wrestle with the truth that now hung in the room. He could see the flickering conflict in her eyes, dozen of memories battling against the new possibility presented. What if it hurts, though? She whispered, almost as if she feared the answer. Every journey carries risks. But it also holds the potential for joy, Alex replied. This could be a door to your past, or the start of a new chapter. Dreams can mend broken hearts. You both deserve that much. Mia, still bewildered but undeniably excited, tugged at Jake's shirt again. Can we see them? Can we visit? I want to meet my other grandma and grandpa. A smile broke through Jake's apprehension as he realized just how much this matter meant to Mia. Though a storm brewed inside him, the light in her eyes reminded him of Hope's resilience. Hold on, sweetheart, he replied gently, kneeling down to meet her gaze. Let us talk to your mom about this first. We don't want to rush into anything. It's a big decision. Yeah, Mia replied, radiating innocent loyalty. But I want to know. Please, Mommy. Jake turned back to Sarah, whose emotions flickered between fear and hope. This could indeed alter their lives in unimaginable ways. Did she see it, too? The tiny threads of possibility sprawled out before them. I need time to think, Sarah sighed, her voice barely above a whisper. But there was a spark igniting behind her hesitant decision. Of course, Alex offered, stepping back slightly to give them space. Take all the time you need. Just know I'm here to support you both, whatever you decide. As the words settled like a weight in the room, Jake felt the urgency swell. This moment wasn't just about past ties, it was a glimpse into a future that could redefine their family. And those shadows lurked around them, whispering silent fears. He knew one thing, no matter the outcome, they would face it as a family, something they had only just started to be. But as they grappled with the enormity of it all, uncertainty clawed at the edges of Jake's mind. Will it really be worth it? He wondered silently, heart racing with a mix of dread and excitement. Would they find the strength to stitch together their broken pieces, or would the truth shatter them completely? The room fell into a heavy silence, the kind that echoed with unspoken fears and hidden hopes. Jake stood, still crouched in front of Mia, watching her face glow with excitement, even as worry twisted in his chest. He needed to stay strong for her. She was so innocent, caught in a whirlwind of emotions she didn't fully understand. Mommy? Mia asked softly, her eyes wide with expectation. Will you talk to them? I want to know them. I want them to meet me. Her words broke Sarah's reverie. Jake could see the emotions dancing across her face, pride mixed with uncertainty, love tangled with fear. Mia, she began, her voice wavering. It's not just that simple. But it could be. Mia pressed, her little hands forming fists in determination. Alex's voice was gentle, an anchor in the storm. Mia deserves to know her family. It's now or never, really. Jake shifted his weight, feeling the tension in the room. He wanted to comfort Sarah, but climbing into her tangled thoughts felt like navigating a maze. If we don't take this chance, he said hastily, how will we know? What are we really afraid of? That will get hurt, Sarah murmured, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. What if they don't want me? What if they don't even know I exist? What if they blame me for everything? The enormity of her words hung in the air, a heavy weight that pressed against their chests. Jake reached for her hand, squeezing it tightly. You're not to blame, Sarah. They're your family, and they want to see you. To know Mia. Don't you want to take that chance? She closed her eyes, taking a shaky breath. It's terrifying, she whispered. What if they've moved on? What if I'm just a ghost from their past? Honey, Jake said, searching for the right words. Change is scary, but ghosts only haunt the past. This is an opportunity. Mia stepped forward, her tiny voice breaking through the gloom. Mommy, it'll be fun. We can go see the new grandma and grandpa. We can make cookies, and they can tell me stories. A soft smile tugged at Sarah's lips at the mention of cookies. It was like a flicker of warmth reaching her frozen heart. I don't know, I've buried so much, I think Alex interjected. You've buried it long enough. What if uncovering it leads to healing? For you and Mia. The silence that followed echoed with the truth of those words. Jake could see the light behind Sarah's eyes dimming and brightening, wrestling with the past and the open door in front of her. Mia, what if we wrote them a letter? Sarah suggested, her voice stronger now. Just to see. No commitments, just a letter. Mia's face lit up like the sun, her excitement palpable. Yes. I can help. Let us write it tonight. You sure, Sarah? Alex asked, gauging her readiness. It's a step, but one that matters. Jake watched as Sarah processed this. It feels like I'm standing on the edge of something bigger. It frightens me. But that's okay, Jake said softly. We can do this together. You'll never have to face it alone. After a moment of contemplation, Sarah nodded slowly. I'll write a letter. Something to start with. Mia jumped up and down, her little joy radiating in waves. Yay! We're going to meet them. As excitement mingled with apprehension, Jake sensed the possibility of rebirth in their fragile family circle. Change was coming, but they would welcome it together, step by step, letter by letter. But as they began to craft a future intertwined with their past, shadows loomed larger. What if the grandparents they met don't recognize Sarah? What if Mia's innocence was shattered? Jake couldn't help but wonder as he looked into Sarah's eyes, was this new beginning worth the risks they might face? That evening, as the sun dipped low, casting a golden hue across the room, Sarah sat at the dining table, a blank sheet of paper poised before her. Her pen hesitated over the surface, and Jake watched her, knowing that each word she wrote would pull back layers of her past. Mia perched beside her, bouncing in her chair like a rubber ball, filled with excitement and bubbling anticipation. Okay, Mommy. What should we say first? Mia clapped her tiny hands, her enthusiasm ricocheting off the walls. It was infectious, a spark illuminating Sarah's uncertainty. Taking a deep breath, Sarah let her gaze wander, seeking inspiration in sunlight's warmth. How about we start with Dear Grandma and Grandpa? Mia nodded vigorously. Yes. And we should tell them about me. How I love cookies and that I want to hear stories. Right, Sarah chuckled softly, finding solace in Mia's enthusiasm. The shadows in her heart began to lift just a little, and she felt warmth spreading through her, paving the way for hope. As Sarah wrote, words flowed more freely. I've been thinking about you a lot. She paused, her hands trembling slightly. And I want to know more about our family. She scribbled furiously, the paper becoming a bridge to connect past and present. What if they don't want to write back? Mia's face suddenly fell, her joy momentarily overshadowed by concern. Jake knelt beside her, resting his hand on her shoulder. But what if they do? What if something incredible happens? Just think about all the cookie-filled memories they could share. Mia's eyes sparkled at the thought. And stories about trains and princesses. Together, they laughed, breaking the tension swirling around Sarah. It was a small moment of magic, and Sarah felt a glimmer of courage. Okay, let us finish the letter, Sarah said, determination filling her voice. With Mia by her side, they carefully crafted each sentence. With every stroke of the pen, Sarah was peeling back the layers that bound her heart so tightly. Later that night, they sat surrounded by a jar of freshly baked cookies, the sweet smell mingling with the air. As Sarah read the letter aloud, her voice wavered but edged with a new strength. Jake noticed how her confidence grew as she continued, the words transforming into a melody of hope, an anthem of reaching out, a call for connection. I can't wait to meet you. Love, Sarah and Mia. When she finished, silence enveloped them. A weight had lifted. Mia giggled, her laughter lightening the air. Tomorrow, we will send it. I'm proud of you, Sarah, Jake said softly, admiration dancing in his eyes. You took a risk. That is huge. But as delighted as they were, an undercurrent of unease ran beneath their celebration. Jake couldn't shake the thought what lay in store for them when they hit send on that letter. What if it opened a door to disappointment? The next morning, they stood in front of a mailbox, Mia proudly clutching the letter. It shimmered with hope, but as Sarah hesitated, her heart raced. What if this was a mistake? What if they were right to hide? Jake placed a steadying hand on her back. It's time. Trust in the process. Taking a deep breath, Sarah nodded and slipped the letter inside. As the metal door clanged shut, Mia jumped in delight. I want cookies with Grandma and Grandpa. And just like that, the seed of hope was planted. But as they turned away, an incoming call buzzed in Sarah's pocket, and when she saw the name flashing on the screen, her heart dropped. What if this call changed everything? Sarah stood frozen beside the mailbox, the sound of her phone buzzing felt like thunder in her chest. She glanced at the screen. It was a number she recognized, the family lawyer. A wave of uncertainty washed over her, and she felt the chilly fingers of fear wrap around her heart. Jake turned to her, concern etched across his face. Answer it, he urged softly, sensing her turmoil. With shaking fingers, she accepted the call. Hello. Her voice was barely a whisper. Hi, Sarah. It's Mark from the office, he said, his tone serious. I have important news regarding your case. The air around her shifted. What case? The one that had haunted her thoughts. She swallowed hard, her heartbeat echoing in her ears. What is it? Is it about the trust? Partly, he replied. I just received information about a potential opening for you to connect with your family. There's a hearing scheduled for next week. They want to meet. Meeting her family? The thought was like a lightning bolt, shocking her into clarity. Mia tugged at her sleeve, eyes wide with confusion. What did he say, Mommy? It's complicated, sweetie, Sarah stammered, her thoughts racing. What did this mean? The hope she felt just hours ago now twisted into a knot of anxiety. Mark continued, they're eager to learn about you and Mia. It's a step forward, a way to unseal old wounds. Old wounds? Dark memories sprang to life, and for a moment, Sarah felt overwhelmed by the weight of her past. I don't know if I can do that. What if they don't want me? Sarah, you're not alone in this. Remember, you have Jake and Mia. And this could be a chance to rewrite your story. His words seemed to hang in the air, filled with possibility. But the fear remained, gnawing at her insides. Would rekindling old family ties erase the life she had worked so hard to build? Okay. I'll think about it, she said, her voice thin. Mark's voice softened. Take your time, Sarah. Just know that I'm here for you. As she ended the call, Jake wrapped an arm around her shoulders. What did he say? He said I might be able to meet my family, Sarah murmured, looking at Mia, who was now busy imagining cookies with her grandparents. Isn't that what you wanted? Jake pressed gently. Yeah, but what if it goes wrong? What if they don't accept us? Then we stand together, just like we always do, he replied firmly. We'll figure it out together. Sarah felt a small flicker of hope ignite once more, even as the doubts hovered at the edges. This was a different journey than sending that letter, a step toward healing and reconnection, or perhaps a door to more heartache. Mia, noticing her quietness, looked up with wide, trusting eyes. "Mommy, I want them to love me. Just like you and Daddy do." Tears brimmed in Sarah's eyes, and she wanted so much to protect her daughter from the complexities of life. "I do too, sweetheart." Suddenly, her phone chimed again. This time, it was a text. As she opened it, her breath caught in her throat. The message held an unexpected twist. "We've received your letter. We want to meet, but there's more you should know. What could be so urgent?" Sarah's heart raced anew as she felt the weight of another decision pressing down on her. "Mommy?" Mia's small voice pulled her back to the moment. "What's wrong?" "It's just a lot to think about." Jake squeezed her hand gently, grounding her. "Hey, take a minute. We'll navigate this as a family." But Sarah knew this was just the beginning. A storm was brewing, and they were all caught in its path. Could she handle it? Before she could respond, an unsettling thought flickered through her mind. What if the meeting reshaped everything she thought she knew? As the day unfolded with more unanswered questions than answers, a sense of dread coiled in her stomach. She had opened a portal to something uncharted. And as they walked home, the sun dipped lower, shadows creeping closer. In that moment, she couldn't shake the feeling that the real journey was just about to begin. Sarah sat on the edge of her bed, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. The sunlight filtered through the window, casting warm rays across the room, but all she felt was cold dread. The text still lingered in her mind, wrapping around her thoughts like a vine that's hard to shake off. "We want to meet, but there's more you should know. What could be so urgent?" A myriad of questions floated in her mind. Did they want to reconcile, or was there something darker lurking beneath the surface? The idea that her past, which she had tried so hard to keep buried, was clawing its way back made her skin crawl. "Mommy!" Mia burst into the room, her small voice breaking her reverie. "Look!" She was holding a drawing, crayon colors vibrant on paper. "I made our family." Sarah forced a smile and took the art piece into her hands. In it, there were stick figures, each one smiling and holding hands. There was Mia, in the center, with two figures on either side. One was her and the other, Jake. Simple and sweet. How could something so innocent spark both joy and an avalanche of anxiety in her? "This is beautiful, sweetheart," she said, kissing the top of her daughter's head, trying to push her own worries aside. "Are we going to meet them? Your family?" Mia asked, her eyes bright with hope. Sarah's throat tightened. How could she answer? "Maybe," she replied, her voice uncertain. Jake appeared at the doorway, a gentle smile on his face. "Hey, how are you doing?" he asked. He had sensed her turmoil and had been giving her space, but now it was evident that they needed to have a conversation. "I don't know, Jake. It feels like I'm standing on the edge of a cliff," she confessed, her voice barely above a whisper. He came over and sat next to her, taking her hands in his. "You are not alone in this, remember. We'll face whatever it is together." Just then, Sarah's phone buzzed again, the vibration sending a jolt through her. A new message from Mark. Hesitant but compelled, she opened it. "Please call when you can. There are matters of significance that could affect your decision." "What does it say?" Jake asked, his expression serious now. "They say there are matters of significance." "Significance?" He frowned. What could be more significant than just meeting? "I don't know." Tears threatened to fall as the weight of the unknown pressed down on her. "I feel so torn. This could change everything." "That might not be a bad thing," Jake said softly, his eyes locked on hers. "Sometimes you need to step into the uncomfortable to find clarity." Mia, oblivious to the tension, interjected, "Mommy, what if they really love me? They could be my new family." Maybe we could have more cookies together. A single tear escaped Sarah's eye, and she quickly wiped it away. How could she drag her little girl into something that felt so fraught with uncertainty? Yet Mia's hopeful face reminded her of the joy that could be gained even through heartache. Sweetheart, it's not that simple. But Mommy, Mia frowned, I just want to love them. Sarah took a deep breath, the warmth of Jake's hand comforting her. Love was the very thing she yearned for too. Okay, she finally said, her voice shaking with determination. I'll call Mark. I need to know what this is all about. As she reached for her phone again, she felt the ground shifting beneath her. With each passing moment, it became clearer, embracing the uncertainty might lead to the life she had always wanted. But what if this encounter ripped apart whatever fragile peace they had? Taking a moment to steady herself, Sarah pressed the call button, her heart racing. As the phone rang, she felt the storm intensify around her. What was waiting on the other end of this call? With bated breath, she prepared to face the tide. As the phone rang, Sarah's heart thundered in her chest. Each beep felt like a countdown to an unknown fate. Jake sat beside her, his steady presence anchoring her as the verdant energy of hope intertwined with anxiety pulsed thick in the air. Hello. Mark's voice sliced through the silence. It was warm yet professional. Hi, Mark, Sarah said, trying to sound calm. You mentioned something significant. Yes, I did, Mark replied, his tone shifting to something more serious. It has come to my attention that your parents would like to start the process of reconciling with you. They're eager to meet with you, and Mia, but there's a complication. Sarah felt a chill. What kind of complication? There's been misinformation about your past, and some old family grievances. They want to be transparent about it before proceeding, Mark explained carefully. It would be best if we discuss this in person. Misinformation? She echoed, her heart racing. What are you talking about? There are truths that might change how you view your family and your past decisions, things you deserve to know before facing them. Can we schedule a meeting? A jolt of dread shot through her as pieces of her past bubbled to the surface. I need to think about it, she said, her voice shaking slightly. Take your time, but remember, you're not alone. You have Jake and Mia. As she hung up, waves of uncertainty washed over her. What was this tangled web of family secrets she was about to untangle? You okay? Jake asked softly, sensing her alarm. She began, catching her breath. They want to meet with me, but there's something significant, some complication. I've barely scratched the surface of my past. Jake took her hand, squeezing it gently. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. You've done remarkable things since we met. This is just another step. The warmth of his words wrapped around her like a comforting blanket, bolstering her resolve. And then, Mia waddled in, holding her drawing triumphantly, her innocence shining bright in that dimming room. Did you talk to the nice man? She asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Yes, sweet pea, Sarah replied softly, her heart swelling at the fierce hope radiating from her daughter. We did, but we have some decisions to make. It's a bit complicated. I want to meet them. I hope they like my drawing. Mia exclaimed, her hands busily gesturing around. Feeling the swell of emotion in her heart, Sarah knelt down. Can you keep your drawing for them? That way, you can show them how much we love cookies and fun. Mia's eyes lit up, and her smile radiated warmth. Yes. They'll love it. And then we can make cookies just like we do. Sarah couldn't help but grin. In Mia's little world, love transcended all fears. A connection built on laughter, joy, and sweetness. A realization hit her then, perhaps love was always hovering, waiting for someone brave enough to seize it. With newfound determination, Sarah stood, an inner fire blazing bright. Okay, let us schedule a meeting with Mark. We'll hear the truth, but no matter what happens, we'll figure it out together. As a family. Jake nodded, a proud smile engraved across his face. That's the spirit. We'll turn that anxiety into a beacon of hope. Mia's tiny hands joined Sarah's and Jake's, intertwining them together in a huddle, her innocent laughter breaking any lingering shadows. We're a family. We can do anything. As they chuckled together, Sarah felt a wave of hope wash over her. The storm that had piled up inside her heart began to clear, replaced with the brightness of possible tomorrows. How beautiful the path ahead could be. With her daughter's laughter echoing, she glanced at Jake with determination. They would embrace honesty, confront the mysterious pasts, and forge ahead into uncharted territory together. But just as she felt ready to brave the unknown, a weighty understanding seeped into her mind: healing was not linear. It would be a journey, a dance with time, fears, and revelations. But she was no longer alone. With radiant love and a sense of family, they could conquer anything. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, bright colors meshed in the sky, mirroring the hard-fought optimism blooming within her heart. Together they would discover what lay ahead, stepping boldly into a new chapter full of messy but beautiful beginnings. And that was enough. Now, dear friend, we've reached the end of this chapter, but it's just the beginning for Sarah, Jake, and Mia. Their journey tells us that love and healing are possible, even against the odds. If you're inspired by their story, you need to subscribe now to catch the next unfolding tales that will tug at your heartstrings. Don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness this transformation and experience the magic of connections. Drop a like now to feed the algorithm, and comment below with your heartfelt reactions and feelings about this ending. Your support matters, and only true fans understand the importance of uplifting the channel through your actions. Let us keep the love spreading.